Hi, and welcome back to Pittman's Pumpkin Patch, Pittman's Garden Patch. It is August 6th, 2023, and I'm here in the backyard pumpkin patch, the one that's growing along the trellis. And I hadn't done a video in quite a while, and I thought that I would, since I was up on an early Sunday morning here, getting ready to go to church in a little bit, thought I'd see if I can get a little tour of the pumpkins as much as I can. So a lot of activity going on, and I'm going to zoom in on that one right there. And as you can see, that is a female flower right there. And it's got that pumpkin down at the bottom. I was able to come out just in time to take a couple male flowers and do a little hand pollinating in there, and then I left the rest of the flowers for the bees to finish up the rest of the job. So if that pollinates, it will only be my second pumpkin of the Howden variety for the season. So zoom out a little bit. It's been visited by the bees, like as you can see. Got a lot of male flowers up there. I've had some strange, like little critters coming. There's a bee right in that one right there. I had some strange creature or whatever coming in during either overnight hours or very early morning hours, and taking chunks out of the flower petals and pulling the stamens out of the male flowers and stuff like that. And I'm like, wow. So last night I put some Ziploc bags, as you can see right there. I put some down over the flower and everything, and for the most part everything's good. So I got one other pumpkin, but like I said, right now it's a little hard to find it and everything in here. I'm sure it's back in there somewhere, and even it has a couple. I'll see if I can find it, but it's gonna be, I'm afraid of bees, so and they're pretty active right now. I think I see it, but it's back in there somewhere. Anyways, it's got a couple little chunks taken out of it early on, and so yeah, not a whole lot of bug pressure. At the very beginning I did have one or two squash bugs. Didn't see them, but I saw their eggs, so I sprayed out here and did a little too much spraying, and it set my plants back a little bit. As you can see, some of the damage that I did, even though it was an organic spray, it was a little bit too heavy on it, and it did some damage. And but the pumpkins outgrew it, so it's not a whole lot going on. I've already started thinking about next year, and I'm thinking that I might, instead of growing pumpkins on the vine back here on the trellis, saw that bee go right in there, that I might do some passion fruit. I'll have to do some research to see what I can find that might grow in this area, and just do some research on it. But I think I might not do the pumpkins on the trellis back here next year, and instead I'll take my Howden variety and maybe one other jack-o'-lantern type variety and grow them out front and along the ground, like I do already with other varieties, just because it can get a bit of a pain, I guess, in a way. But Hi, Mr. Beagle, I'm back in. It could be a bit daunting having to come out, one to two times a day to restructure the vines to keep them from going straight up to the sky and everything, and then getting, and snapping and everything. So weaving it in and out of the trellis can be a daunting task because they grow so fast that you have to go out about twice a day and always do that, and inevitably you end up snapping some of the vines, and then so I think I just might take a break from growing it along the trellis and try some passion fruit, but we'll see. Real quick, as Scooby makes a cameo, you better stay away from those bees, buddy. So in the last day or two, I've came out here and planted potatoes in both raised beds. Scooby, you better get out of there, son. Those bees are going to pop on you, buddy. And I don't want you peeing on my pots. Get going. Nope. Scooby, leave it. Now that you're about to do your business. So anyways, you can see the grid system irrigation that's on there. That's from Garden in Minutes website. And I got the 4x6 size. And it does a really good job of watering, and it also gives you that kind of that square foot gardening method in your raised bed. So I'm trying Huckleberry Gold potatoes and Rose Gold potatoes. So the Huckleberry Gold has a purple skin with yellow flesh, and the Rose Gold has a rosy colored skin and golden flesh. So, yep, looking good, looking good. Hopefully I get some good potatoes this year. Hopefully with keeping the soil cooler, everything I'll be able to get some much better potatoes than what I had last year. All right, let's move on. All right, so here we are out in my front jungle, aka the front yard pumpkin patch. Okay, intermingled with the dragon fruit and my trellis system. Okay, a marigold that decided it wanted to grow in the cracks of the stone, so I just let it go. It's a bit of a pain to go around it and avoid it as you walk through that little small area right there, but it works. And the orange trees and avocado trees, and there's a fig tree nestled back in there that I took the cutting from my dad's fig tree. More orange trees, bell peppers. Oh, I forgot. Here we go. So let's see. Let me scoot on by here. Sorry about that. So right down in there, as you can see, there's a pumpkin growing right here on the concrete. I've done a pretty good job. You can see the vine goes back in there. I did a pretty good job of keeping all the vines out of here and keeping them up growing into the yard, but that one, I missed that one. But now it's growing back out into the yard because it's growing in between the pots and everything. You can see the vine going up there. But hey, it is what it is. So let's see if I can move in here. Okay, so now we're here, getting more of a front view. Let me zoom out actually so you can kind of get a feel for the jungle. I do love coming out here and seeing it. So, anywho, like I said, you can see one of the white pumpkins right there. And let's see, this should be a female flower right there. Let's see if I can squat down here and get a closer look at maybe. Let's see what variety that is. Okay, that little rim or ridge that's sitting there, that's that DeSuga. It's an Italian variety. I know I'm not probably pronouncing it correctly. Let's see. Oh, there's another pumpkin right in there. It might be the Blue Hubbard squash right there. That's probably what that is the Blue Hubbard squash. I think which is an Australian variety. And there's another little one that's getting its start right there. Okay, I think it's another Blue Hubbard. There's another white pumpkin that's growing further up into the jungle there. I happened to discover it a few days ago. You can see there's a pumpkin right in there. I think that's the Long Island cheese variety. Okay, so I'm growing two different types of pumpkins out here. Okay, on the right side here are the Maxima family pumpkins. You already know that the Peppo family pumpkins are growing in the backyard on the trellis. Okay, that's your jack-o'-lantern type pumpkins. And so Maxima family pumpkins are growing here on the right. So the Blue Hubbard squash, the DeSuga, and again, I know I'm not pronouncing that one right. And the something moon, no, excuse me, polar bear pumpkin is growing out there. Now, over on this side, the left side, is the Machada type of pumpkins. And this is the, I have the Long Island cheese and another one, I can't even pronounce the name, it's too fancy. It's probably French. But anyways, these varieties will not cross-pollinate each other, okay? So the fact that I'm still getting all varieties of pumpkins growing and having no issues getting things pollinated, you know, is a good thing. So let's see what else I can find in here. Now this one right here is one of those fancy pumpkins, at least the name of it is. You can see that it's very heavily ribbed, very pronounced. Okay, you can see all that heavy ribbing on there. And again, I think when this is fully ripe, this is going to actually have more of a brownish color to the outside, to the skin. And that's going to be kind of cool. And I kind of look for interesting things like that when I decide which varieties to grow. Because I do sell some of these. And I'm always looking for something that's interesting and different. Things that I think are appealing to me. Hopefully others will feel the same way. And it's nice to have something different because your local farmers around here and or other places that sell pumpkins, like the grocery stores will have a big bin of them and things like that. I sell things that are unusual, unique. You will not find these varieties growing around here. So it's always cool and really nice to have people stop by and they ask me questions about my garden, and they look at the different varieties of pumpkins I have, and it's something that's known in the neighborhood. Oh, you're that guy that grows that pumpkins up there in the yard. The vines go across the yard. It's like, yep. So yeah, that's me. So, and so you can see how the male flowers are intermingled in here. I have a double, I'm not sure if I had two female flowers that opened up side by side the other day. Let's see if I can find them. So here are those two females right there. And this has got to be that fancy pumpkin because you can already see the ribbing on it. If you look, you can already see the ribs on there. So this is that fancy variety that I can't remember. I don't know if both of them got pollinated or any of them. They start out kind of slow growing at first, so it's kind of hard to tell. Where the pumpkins in the Maxima and the Pepo family, within several hours to one day, you can tell whether they got pollinated or not. So, and they have this cool variegated pattern on the leaves. Oops, excuse me, Mr. Bee. Yeah, I told you I'm afraid of bees. Scared me to death. Okay, so let's move on. Here are my only 2 apples that I have growing. This is the Liberty apple. And I have 2 of them hanging down here on this branch. The weight of it has brought them down. These, believe it or not, these 2 apples are the only ones that have survived any of the attacks of the bugs. You know, particularly moths that go and lay their eggs on the apples and the peaches and the pumpkins. They'll do that too. And they attacked all the other apples and peaches and ruined them, but they did not attack these Liberty apples. So I don't know, something to keep an eye on. But these started out, of course, green, and now they're turning. They got a good blush color, just a little slightly red coloring going on, and I think sometime in September, I believe, is when they're supposed to be ready, but they're supposed to turn a much more deeper shade of red. Well, I'll just finish up this video here with a little bit of the dragon fruit, I guess. As you can see, they've grown quite a bit this year, and I have these on dollies so that I can wheel them in when it gets cold later this year. But this particular variety here, Purple Haze, has done really well. It's very vigorous, and I don't know if I'm going to get any flowers and fruit off of it this year, but I'm imagining that I will get some next year. At least that's the hope. Let's see if I can get a good background look color in there. All right, so yep, they're supposed to start fruiting once the vines start hanging down like that. So I don't know if they need to grow further down, but everything's looking good. Yep. All right. So if you have any questions or comments, post them down below. From Pittman's Pumpkin Patch, Pittman's Garden Patch, y'all have a great day. Bye.